Hi there, my name is Joy. Welcome to my week 1 assignment post where I talk about SEL. I will be going over a little bit of a definition and an overview of what SEL is. I'll then talk about why it's important in schools and why it's important for us to include this as part of our practice. And then I'll talk a little bit about what the data says about how effective SEL can be in the classroom. From our video lectures this week, we learned that SEL is the process by which a child learns social and emotional skills. In a classroom, it is just as important to learn social emotional skills as it is to learn reading and writing. There are so many benefits to students when they are in a classroom with an SEL-centered educator. One, they learn to manage their emotions a little bit better. They also learn to have empathy and concern for their classmates, for the school community, for their community at large. And then they also learn to problem solve and they learn to make better decisions. And then they also build and they maintain healthy relationships. There's also short-term effects too when we talk about implementing SEL, especially when we talk about self-management and self-awareness. We really teach these students how to manage strong emotions and really intense emotions when they come on. We're able to equip our students with tools to be able to deal with themselves in any given moment. SEL-centered educators also just teach their students how to coexist with one another, how to be able to share their scarce resources, how to better manage themselves when conflicts do arise, that, violence isn't always the answer. Management of oneself is usually the beginning of, helping to resolve conflicts peacefully. And of course, another outcome of an SEL-centered classroom is students being able to advocate for themselves, being able to use their voice and assert themselves when it is necessary. SEL is important in our schools because just like reading and writing and math are, essential to a student's foundation, also learning how to live as part of a society and as part of a community is also very important. Learning how to recognize emotions, learning how to problem solve, learning how to manage conflict. These are skills that are just as important as being able to add and subtract and multiply and write. It's important because we as teachers do so much more than just teach our content. We also teach these children how to be, and we model for them how we are to be in a society. And to date, we have finally compiled enough data to be able to substantiate and show that these SEL strategies, when they are implemented in the classroom, have measurable effects on our student population. In taking a closer look at the data, I took a deeper dive over at the Castle website to see what the data says about the effectiveness of SEL in the classroom. And overall, students do better academically, and they act out less often, and they have better interpersonal relationships with their friends and their peers and their teachers alike. The data also shows that an overwhelming majority of teachers want to implement SEL strategies in the classroom. In fact, according to the SEL website, 93% of teachers want a greater focus on SEL in the school. When SEL strategies and interventions address the 5 core competencies like self-awareness, like self-management, then we can see measurable increases in student outcomes. In one study, it showed that the students who participated in SEL programs were 11 points above their counterparts that did not participate in SEL programs. That's a pretty big increase. The data from that study also showed that SEL programs improved classroom behavior. It increased a child's ability to manage themselves and their own stress and their own depression and anxiety. And it also showed that their interpersonal relationships were better with their friends, that they felt better about themselves and their friends and the adults in charge of them. Thank you for taking the time to watch my assignment submission. If you have any questions, please feel free to list them in the comments below. I would really appreciate your feedback, and I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you.